Hello, everyone. I'm Matthew Lynn from the head-royce High School, and today is April 2nd, 2022. I'm here today with Yana Basilina and her mom, Antonina, who just last week escaped the violence in Ukraine and came to the Bay Area. I've asked them to share with us their personal experiences and perspectives about the current Ukrainian-Russian war. Today, I'd like to welcome two very special guests, Miss Yana and Miss Antonina. And they're both of Ukrainian descent, and Miss Antonina actually just came into the U.S. last week from Ukraine. And we are deeply thankful that you can join us today to share your perspectives and culture about what's going on.
Our pleasure. Thanks for having
Thank
us.
you. So my first question is, could you just give me a little bit of background information on your history?
Sure. Our family originally are all from Ukraine. Her father came from Belarus, so my mom's, but we always lived in Ukraine, and we are originally from Dnipro, and so it's eastern Ukraine.
Okay, thank you. How are your other family members that are still there doing? And how were you able to get out of Ukraine?
Как ты смогла выбраться из Украины?
Ну, нам пришлось сесть на автомобиль. Мой зять, то есть муж моей дочери младший, посадил меня, его детей, жену и привез нас до границы.
So they traveled by car,
Mhm.
and her son-in-law took her, the wife, which is my sister, and two kids, and a friend with a kid too. So they were all 7 people in a 5-seater car, and they traveled from eastern Ukraine to the border through western Ukraine.
Wow. And how are your other family members still doing there? It must be really tough.
Yeah, so my husband's family is still there, his parents, by choice, due to health issues, they could not leave. And our brother-in-laws are still there, and they joined the territorial defense in our city. Plus, my husband's parents, they couldn't travel because of health conditions. They just would not be able to bear the trip.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
And it's a pretty bad situation right now because the city gets attacked at night, every night, and they're trying to bomb the city more and more. They hit more strategic objects every night. The city has been able to defend itself for a while, but it's getting tougher, definitely.
Sorry. Could you describe the trip that you have to do to be able to escape from Ukraine?
Yes, so I'll speak on her behalf because she's already told me the story. So the way it happened is they had to travel at night. They went through multiple blog posts where they were checking documents, verifying all the information, and they were held, задержали на полчаса, да, на одной из блокпостов. Из-за того, что кого-то нашли?
Ну, это когда мы ехали до границы.
Ну да, на Украине.
Когда мы до блокпостов, мы хотели...
сколько блокпостов вы проехали?
Ой, ну, очень много. В каждом городе и каждом населенном пункте на каждый по 4 блокпоста.
So it was a difficult journey because they had multiple blog posts where a verification of the document happened. And when you drive, they had to go through local roads, and there is no a big highway, multi-lane highway. It's one lane in each direction. And imagine hundreds of thousands of people traveling in the same direction. And they're stopping in every small village and the city, and they have to go through multiple checkpoints in order to continue the journey to the western Ukraine. Because in order to cross into Poland, you have to travel from eastern Ukraine through western Ukraine and then into Poland. Yeah, there was no gasoline on the main road. There was no gasoline available. They had to stop off and drive off the road a few 30 minutes in order to be able to find a gas station. They stopped by multiple gas stations, and none of them had gasoline because petrol was reserved for mostly military vehicles, and they were able to find one where they were able to get the gas, but they had to stay in line for 3 hours.
Okay. What is it currently like in Ukraine, and what city were you specifically from?
Из какого города ты?
Днепро. Днепр, Украина, это центральная Украина. Я там и родилась, и прожила всю жизнь. Ну, пришлось выехать, потому что вся жизнь вместилась в один тревожный чемоданчик.
Yeah, from Dnipro. She grew up in Dnipro and she lived in the same house all her life. And it's central Ukraine, it's more eastern central Ukraine. And she said that all her life fit into a small suitcase when she had to leave. But in the city itself right now, because it's not has been destroyed, they're trying to attack it and bomb it. But a lot of people from Mariupol, from Kharkiv, that had to escape basically destroyed cities, they come to Dnipro right now as refugees for shelter. And right now, currently in her house, she has a family, 2 kids, and a husband and wife that live in her house because they lost everything in Kharkiv.
Oh, I'm so sorry. So are all like the stores and restaurants just like, is everyone just sheltering right now?
Everyone is sheltering. However, the city administration
Mhm.
is urging everybody to try and make it as normal life as possible to
Okay.
live. However, grocery prices went quite up,
Yeah.
and then they're receiving a lot of humanitarian help from Western Ukraine that comes from the West,
Mhm.
and that helps people survive, especially people that are retired and they live on their own. They are struggling the most, but there are a lot of volunteers that are helping and delivering food.
And how are you feeling right now? And like, what emotions are you feeling?
Как ты себя чувствуешь? Какие у тебя эмоции? Что ты переживаешь?
Ну, я до сих пор не могу отойти от пережитого. Очень переживаю за всех людей, друзей, которые там остались. Многие не смогли выехать, потому что не о чем. И к тому же некоторые еще работают, потому что заставили всех работать. Надо поднимать экономику все равно. Если не будет экономики, то и нечем будет содержать Збройные силы Украины.
Yeah. She said that she's still really emotional about it and scared. So sometimes like loud noises because they had sirens for air bombing, and so she is still really emotional and gets scared when there's loud noises. She's really worried about her friends that are still there. Some decided to stay, some couldn't leave, and they're still working in order to try and keep the economy running as much as possible.
Through this terrible experience, are there any acts of kindness that you've experienced, whether it be with like your family or friends?
Когда ты проходил через такой опыт, у тебя есть, чем ты хочешь поделиться, где ты получила доброту или увидела доброту других людей?
Да, когда мы не ожидали, когда мы перешли границу, мы не ожидали, что нас так тепло встретит польская сторона. Она нас расселила, кормила, и благодаря моей дочери мы смогли поселиться в доме всей семьей, и плюс еще была семья Яниного мужа, сестра с детьми. Мы там смогли пробыть месяц, потом благодаря им уехали в Монтенегро. А Яна забрала сюда, потому что они семьями молодые быстрее адаптируются, чем.
Yes, she said that the act of kindness was that a Polish side people were really kind when they crossed the border because it was cold. They fed them, showed a lot of kindness, situated them in an area where they could wait for transportation in order to get to the house where that we rented for them. She also said that she's really grateful for me and my husband because we rented Airbnb for them where they could all stay and relax a little bit and catch breath. And it accommodated all 7 of them plus my husband while he was there.
And what are the best ways that like people my age or like people in the United States can do to help Ukraine?
Yeah. So the biggest thing is just don't believe the propaganda where they're saying that in Ukraine people that speak Russian were not treated well or were what's the word? Притесняты. I'm losing my English. that they are in minority and basically they didn't have good life because they didn't speak Ukrainian. That's completely untrue, and it was completely made up argument to start this war. But bringing awareness of what is happening and knowing that it is all true and it's not fake propaganda or fake news, because I've heard from some people they're saying, oh, it's not true, there is no war there, and this is absolutely not true. So the awareness that you can bring, and just supporting humanitarian organizations, because obviously you're still young and it's important to know what's happening around you.
Okay, thank you. Those are all the questions I have for today, but thank you so much for allowing me to interview you. Our family, and I'll just keep continuing to pray to hope that this resolves and continues to get better.
Thank you so much.
I'd like to again thank Yana Basilina and her mom, Antonina, for sharing with us their personal experiences about the Ukrainian-Russian war. As you can tell, this is a very personal and emotional topic for them, as they still have family there. Many of the women and children have fled, but all the military-age males are required to stay to help fight. They've shared that the atrocities happening right now in Ukraine are real. As citizens of the world, we need to keep the Ukrainian people in our thoughts and prayers. Thanks for listening.
Яка місячна зоряна ясная, видна очолки збирай. Види, коханая, працею зморена, хоч на хвилинонку хай. Ти ж не лякайся, ще ніженьки боси, змочеш холодну росу. Я ж тебе